for every unclean, hated bird. He's got the stuff, harder stuff. And that's what the Bible says. This angel has a great authority. He has authority. He has been empowered. Do you know why the angel has got authority and power? It's because he's just out of the 10 days of prayer. The angel is just getting out of the 10 days of prayer. And the angel is filled with power and the Spirit of God. And because this angel is filled with power, he must speak a message that is not pleasant. Are you with me? He must warn the world. He must speak with power and authority, because the message he is carrying is a powerful message. Listen to the message. Babylon the Great is what? Fallen. Now, very few people have courage to say that. No, church, we have not gathered enough courage to say that. Not so many preachers have gathered enough courage to say that. Listen, the great Babylon is fallen. Is fallen is repeated twice for emphasis. And has become, read that, a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every false spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. I will avoid to get to the details of the prophetic interpretation of all these figuratives and all these metaphors and what used in here. But let me tell you what is happening in chapter 18. When we talk about Babylon, what are we talking about? What does the word Babylon mean? Or where do we find the word Babylon? The word Babylon is first found in the Old Testament. Literally, in its literal nature, we read first in the book of Genesis. Is it chapter? Which chapter is that? When the sons of men, having increased and having explored and gathered enough in the world, they thought that they could get closer to God. They thought that they could create a gate to heaven. That they could, come together and construct something or build something to reach heaven. But when you read, if I can read for you, I don't have time, you can read there, Genesis, I think it's Genesis, is it chapter? Chapter 6 and 4. They thought that they could build a gate to heaven. Actually, the word original from the semantic meaning of the word Babylon is not confusion. Confusion is a spiritual meaning. But the literal semantic meaning of the word, that is those who named the word, they called Babylon to mean the gate of heaven. So what these people were building, actually, they were building a gate of heaven. Human beings building a gate of heaven, wanting to connect to heaven. And when you read there, the motive they had was not a godly motive. The motive they had was not, because it was contradicting what God wanted. Remember what God said in the book of Genesis. Be therefore fruitful and do what? Come on, will you talk to me? Be therefore fruitful and do what? Multiply. That's what God had instructed them. But then they were defying that. They wanted to stick together and, just find their way into heaven. A sinful race, messed up sinful race. Inside of them are ideas which seem to contradict the will of God. And because of that, God is not happy with them. God is not happy with them. And therefore, when God comes down, you can read what, I beg we get there. Let's just get there and read the exact words so that I don't put on my words. I don't put my words in that text. Can we read there? Can somebody read for us? Yes, it's chapter 11. And I want you to read from verse, let's just read from verse 1. Let me read for you. The Bible says, now the whole had one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, and they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly. They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. Listen to that discussion. That discussion is anti what God had said in the book of Genesis chapter 1, when he was creating Adam and Eve. He told them, be thou fruitful and multiply and fill the whole world, the earth. That was the order that God had left. And therefore, it is a contradiction. It is anti what God had taught, that these people should come together and, build a tower that connects them to God, that puts them together. And they say, come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves. Listen to that attitude. Let us make a name for ourselves. And then lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the earth. But that statement is in contradictory to what is being said up there. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. There's a semicolon. Now, nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. I just don't have time to explain these scriptures. Come, Jesus and God is saying, come, let us. Those people say, there's no, let me not just get there. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore, its name is called Babel, or Babylon in the current language, because there the Lord confused the language. So the reason as to why it's called Babel is because God confused the language. God scattered. Actually, the word confused there, I think, is the Hebrew word is not a negative word. Okay? The Hebrew word for that word is not a negative word. Confuse sounds negative, but God was not really confusing. God is not the author of confusion, the Bible says. Are we together? Yes. So the word confuse is not the original, really, the meaning and the mood and the purpose of the word that was used there. God simply separated the languages. Are we together? He separated them and commissioned them to go to the rest of the world. And friends, you need to know. So what we call Babylon spiritually, is when people come together with a motive, with a purpose to act against the established word or will of God. Did you hear me? What we call Babylon spiritually. Babylon spiritually is when people come together. They could be doing a good thing, in their eyes. When people come together with a motive or with a plan to go against the establishing word or the establishing purpose of who? Of God. Now, an angel is seen flying in the midst of heaven and with great power and authority. And this angel has one message. He says that Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. And he says that it has become a dwelling place of demons. You know what is represented as Babylon here. I don't want to be teaching what you already know. But this angel is at the close of time. You know, when we begin reading the book of Revelation from chapters 13 to chapters 14, 15, 17, 18, we are the book of Revelation